bad data is crippling your decision-making ability. Hey, what's happening? It's Erik J. Olson. I like to make decisions around here based on data. All too often, I hear things from lots of people about what they think is going to work, or they kind of sort of know this, or they have a suspicion of that. And they're asking me to make changes in the company or to implement a new policy or a new process or to get rid of one, either based on just gut intuition or experience, or, a lot of times it gets kind of like puffed up a lot. Hey, Erik, based on my, 100 years of experience, I think we should do this. And it's like, when I hear that, I cringe, because what I want is to look at data to make decisions. What I don't want is to have to kind of like take this nebulous data and feedback loop in and then kind of like hope that I'm making the right decision. What I'd rather do is look at actual hard data. Now, I'm not saying you always make decisions based on only the hard data, but I want the hard data so that I can see clearly what the trends are, what the data is telling me to do. It's a great input. It's not the only input, but when you're lacking the hard data, it just becomes much more risky and difficult to make decisions that you think are right. You're really just guessing at that point. And I'm tired of guessing when it comes to some of the changes that we're making here at Array Digital. Like in the beginning, we made a lot of changes very, very quickly without any data or really hardly any intuition, just because we just thought it'd be better. And we've largely been pretty lucky, but we're a bigger company now, and we're a little more mature, and we have data sources, things like our CRM, a customer relationship management tool that's supposed to log every single phone call, every single email, every single deal, company and client that we've ever dealt with. We have our files, which we use Google, so Google Drive. We have centralized systems that are intended to collect data. But often when I go to look for that data, it's garbage. The data is just not there, or it's wrong. And it gets very tiring to hear from people that, oh, it's just out of date. Like every time you ask, oh, it's out of date. Well, if it's always out of date, then it's never in date. And if it's never in date, then I can't make decisions from it. So recently we had a discussion about making a change to our website. And we argued and argued and argued about it for months. And then I finally decided that I would bite the bullet and I would do a deep dive data analysis. And it took me like 3 hours to gather all the data up. It should have been a report. I should have been able to go and click run report. Here's the data. But the data was so lacking because we didn't have the discipline to put it in right that I couldn't do that. So in order to get data to inform me about the decision that we wanted to make or not make, I had to go fetch it one piece of data at a time. And I had to look deep to figure out what that data actually meant. And it's exhausting. And I can't continue to do that. You can't continue to do that if you're running a business. You can't rely on just your own analysis to go find the data that you need. You need good data. So what I'm imploring my team to do now is, I'm all for like hearing ideas and whatnot, but if you really want to make a change or you have an idea, bring data. Number one, the best data is our own data. The next best data is an actual, some sort of research. What I don't mean is like, oh, I read this article like, a while ago, and I think it said blah, blah, blah. We're not going to do that here anymore. I want to see the actual article and a write-up, and I want it to be thorough. At Amazon, when you go into a meeting, they actually give you a piece of paper, and you read it for about 10 or 15 minutes before anyone even starts talking. And the paper is a write-up. It's research that someone has done. They have a position, and they want to make a change in the company. And based on that data, you make a decision. I want to get a lot closer to that, and that's where we're going right now. So if you don't have data and you want it, you should start insisting on your team to deliver it, or you're not going to make a decision we'll be happy with. If you could learn from their successes, and avoid mistakes they've made in the past. Array Mentors provides the framework and the guidance to help you find your way, get you on the right path, and accelerate your journey to more money and more success. Check out the details at arraymentors.com.